Let's examine the bias and corrupt judges and courts Trump claims to be the ultimate victim of at the hands of sleepy Joe Biden, or, depending on the MAGA media news cycle, a criminal mastermind at the head of the infamous Biden crime family, collecting millions all while not being able to ride a bike. First up is the E. Jean Carroll case. Here is a quick summary. In January, a federal jury in Manhattan ordered Donald Trump to pay E. Jean Carroll $83.3 million in damages for defamation. The case revolved around Trump's repeated defamatory remarks against Carroll following her accusations that he R-worded her in the late 90s. The jury awarded $18.3 million in compensatory damages and $65 million in punitive damages, reflecting the severity of Trump's actions and his continued public attacks on Carroll. Now, in this case, a jury found Trump liable, not a judge or leftist George Soros prosecutor. Ordinary people heard the evidence and found Trump guilty. No other way around it, and this is why he had to pay so much. Case number 2, hush money case in New York. In May, a New York jury found Donald Trump guilty on all 34 felony counts related to falsifying business records to cover up hush money payments from the public. Again, the jury, not the judge or prosecutors, determined that Trump, with the help of his former lawyer Michael Cohen, labeled these hush money reimbursements as legal expenses in his business record, which prosecutors argue was done to conceal a violation of campaign finance law. Trump falsified records including 11 invoices, 12 general ledger entries, and 11 checks signed personally by Trump himself, according to court record. Again, the jury saw this evidence and found Trump liable, not the judge or prosecutors, that Trump and every MAGA cult member purposely fucks up to confuse their base and deflect from Trump's shitty and illegal behavior, once again blaming everyone else except the person at the center of all these obnoxious controversies. Now for the case related to Trump's attempt to overturn the 2020 election because he has the emotional stability of a teenage girl whose boyfriend just cheated on her. This case has yet to be heard because once again the Supreme Court had to take another January 6 case that had already been heard on appeal and ruled on at length. They recently ruled that a lower court can only charge Trump for actions that are not labeled official, which means Trump got the delay from the Supreme Court he wanted, as this case will not be heard until after the 2024 election. And if Trump wins, he will end this case and any other case that is trying to finally hold him accountable for his actions and behavior. Trump's last case, where he is accused of stealing classified documents from the White House, where the charges include violations of the Espionage Act, making false statements, and conspiring to obstruct justice. This case has also not been litigated due to constant delays put forth by Trump and his lawyers, like in his January 6 case. Strange. Every one of Trump's requests to the judge overseeing this case, no matter how small or outlandish, have been granted, or at the very least entertained, while prosecutors' requests have routinely been shot down. So who is this judge, you may ask, that rules for Trump every time? Well, her name is Eileen Cannon, and she was placed on the federal court by, surprise, surprise, Donald J. Trump. Trump has said repeatedly that loyalty is more important than expertise, knowledge, and even country. Seems to be an apt description of Judge Cannon, who was asked repeatedly to step down by fellow conservative judges who were concerned she was a complete idiot. We do not know the facts of this case almost 4 years after the events in question, because Trump and his lawyers are keeping the public from what happened. Why? Well, if the judge would actually start the trial, we might know. But now, Trump will end the investigation if he's reelected, just like he will end the January 6 case. I wonder if this is why Trump keeps delaying the trial, so we don't know the true facts before the 2024 election. Should make you wonder why an innocent man wants to hide supposedly totally legal actions from his base of supporters right before a major election. Now, considering that the only cases to move forward, Trump was found guilty by a jury, and if even one juror found that Trump was innocent, then it would be a hung jury, but that did not happen. He was unanimously found guilty in both cases by every single juror. Would you consider it unfair to the prosecution because there is a conflict of interest with so many judges Trump appointed himself and are actively ruling on his cases with obviously perceived or actual conflicts? If you don't, then you should quit bitching about a two-tiered justice system, unless you're talking about Trump, who has appointed his own judges ruling on his own cases. And then if Trump's appointed judge doesn't rule in his favor, Trump can appeal to the highest court in the land, where he has personally appointed 3 out of the 9 justices, with another 2 justices on the court whose wives have openly and proudly supported his attempts to overturn the 2020 election and are ruling in favor of the Christification of the American way of life. So if you know other defendants who have appointed their own judges and then have backup judges that no one can overrule, actively working on their behalf to to grant them delays and immunity for criminal activity just long enough to hopefully re-elect them to America's first, only, and most likely last king. Trump America, Ameri-Trump, Donald Cup, Ameridon. I guess we'll find out if Trump gets re-elected and demands the Supreme Court change the name of the country. Wait, Trump won't need to ask. He can label it an official act right after he officially orders the military to police the streets and round up everyone who has hurt his feelings. Sad.